Hello. Okay, so we're live, and I guess we're just waiting for people to get the notification that I am live because it takes a hot minute, y'all, for me to do that. And so, what I'm looking for is someone to say, you can hear me and you can see me okay. Hello, Pearland. And just so that I can make sure that audio wise, I'm good to go. Okay. And then we'll get started and we'll just, do some play like we normally do. So, yeah, just waiting for someone to share that they can see and hear me. Okay, great. Thank you, Gwen. Thanks, Gwen. So that I can make sure that all is good. So, welcome, everyone. It's been a week. And so today we're going to, I just want to make sure everything is hooked up. Yeah, I think so. Good. Hi, Anita. We are going to play with the deck. At least I'm going to play. You guys do your own thing. Play with the deck that I started at the creative play date I had last Sunday. If you were able to come to that, it was absolutely wonderful. Hi, Tammy. And I was very delighted that so many people came. Almost broke my Zoom. That's a good plan. That's a good thing to have happen. And then you had access to the replay as well. So I'm hoping that you, if you were able to do that, you were able to watch it and, have a good time. So, which is awesome. The other thing I wanted to say was for many of you, hi, Stephanie. You were aware that I was going to Ireland. I was supposed to leave on Monday, and those plans have changed. So I am no longer going to Ireland. The girlfriend that I was going with ended up in the hospital on Wednesday evening. And so she's back home and she's okay, but she had blood clots in her lungs. And so thank everything that we were not on a plane. Okay, so I'm not going to Ireland, which is disappointing, but my girlfriend's health is more important than anything. So the other thing I wanted to share while I was on this call with y'all today, and hi to Cynthia and Wendy and Elaine and Rosemary, hi. Jennifer, yes, that is David, David in the background. I leave him so that he can judge me and make me think about what I'm going to say. Isn't that delightful? And hi, Andrea. How are you? And so what I wanted to share was that I actually made up an art kit to take with me to Ireland. And I even made a YouTube video. It was going to go live on Sunday, but that seemed not appropriate. So I took the video back down and something else will go up in its place on Sunday for my usual YouTube video every week. And hi, Susan. But because I am not going to Ireland, for those that are joining just now, I know I just see that there's more people joining. I thought I would share what I was going to take as an art kit because I think sometimes it's helpful for people to see how to pare down your art supplies. This is something that you could, just take with you on a day trip, or if you were just needing, like, I know I have friends whose studio is in a different building. I have friends whose studio is, I have friends whose studios are like upstairs or in a basement, or so in order to have a small art kit, I thought I'd share what I was going to take to Ireland. For those that are joining, hi Joan and hi Kelly. Yes, I can't say it isn't so. The Ireland trip got canceled. My girlfriend ended up in the hospital on Wednesday with blood clots in her lungs. We are entirely grateful that it did not happen while she was on a flight, because they told her in the hospital that if that had happened, she would have died. So just let's be very grateful that it happened before we left, and that hopefully in another time, me and her will get to see Ireland, but I'll be around if you need me. And, over the next 9 days where I was supposed to be overseas. So it is what it is. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna put my hands in the spotlight, and so I'm gonna share with you the kit that I was going to take, and then we'll play. So the point of this art kit was, oops, hold on while I move this. Got to move my cord out of the way. There you go. Yes, she is home, and they'll figure out what the heck happened, and she's looking good and alive, and that's all that counts. So thank you. So I know me really well, and a lot of times when I go on vacation, I always take some kind of art kit with me, but I tend to not use it very often. So, but I always have to have it with me because we're artists. We have grand plans. So I was very careful about what I was going to pack, and I was taking it in the hopes that I would more like gather like ephemera while I was there than actually do anything. But I wanted to have the ability, it was Ireland. This was not like, a place I've been before. So I didn't know how I would react to where I was. I'm sure it would have been like a lot of, squealing. I don't squeal, but I have a feeling I might have squealed a few times in Ireland. So I have a little bag. I have, if you've not, this is some of you might recognize this, Thrive Cosmetics. And I've actually found these bags because they come, if you get like a subscription of this product, then these bags come all the time. So I've also found them in thrift stores, but it's plastic on the outside, so that's helpful. So what I was going to take is, you're looking at it. This was it. And thank you all for the kind words about what's happening. So this was a journal that I picked up recently. My friend, I went to visit Susan, who is here, and her daughter makes these and sells them, these little handmade journals. So I figured this was a really good journal because you can see, first of all, it's slim. It doesn't have a ton of pages in it. And the pages are, I don't really know, it feels like could be sketchbook paper. I would say think of like really heavy duty printer paper. Okay. So it has that. And I love that it's, a bit of a paper bag. I mean, it was screaming me. I love it. A little house. Woo-hoo, awesome. So I was going to take this journal, a couple plastic bags to hold anything that I found, as far as like receipts and, beer coasters. I'm sure I would have got a couple of them, brochures, any kind of paper ephemera. This was just a composite like collage I found on Google and printed out as part of the video I made for this. I made a video for this, and well, I'm not going to be sharing it any longer, but maybe I'll save it for the next time. But I made this collage, so it would have been something to actually use. This was the only paperwork I took, or the paper. A glue stick, obviously. A little pair of scissors. Okay. These are super sharp scissors that have a holder, so I thought that would be fun, and they're tiny. So I did that. I'm going to get to that. Some rubber stamps. So I decided that I would take these stamps. This one I loved because it said "Enjoy life, have a nice day." Beautiful. It had some birds and flowers and, birds and flowers on this one. And then this was the other stamp set that I was going to take. Enjoy the little things, amazing, and more like nature. Because when I think of Ireland, I think of nature. Okay. So I was going to take those, and then a black stamp pad, and not a block, because one, I can use the stamp pad as my block, or two, I could use my phone as a block. So I didn't bring a block with me, and I wanted it to be, flat and easy to pack. So I brought that. I would have brought this little watercolor palette. This is just watercolor paper, this palette. This is just a piece of paper in the background that I use. I don't even know why it's in there, but it's in there. And then I took tube acrylics and squeezed them out on this watercolor paper. And so I have a little watercolor palette that is flat and in a little zippy bag. Okay. Then I had two zip bags, or two handmade bags. This one has water brushes, because water brushes, hello. And then my black and white pens, which I use a ton. So those were handy in case I just wanted to, I like having them separate because that's something, these are like a mandatory product to me. Not everything else is mandatory, but this would be mandatory. And then in the rest of this, I brought 2 pieces of washi tape. One is as neutral as I could get, so it looked kind of vintagey and coffee dyed. This was in my stash from something that I got recently. And then this washi tape, which has like airmail and stamps and kind of like all mail things, or I think of them, you know, as travel-y type stamps. Plus they had lots of different types of little individual images on this washi tape. So I could use it as a collage sheet. Okay, so that's why, hi Kimber, and Rachel, by the way, did not say hi. Hi. That's why I chose this. I can also use it to, in addition to gluing, I can use it to tape things into the journal. So, and then because I brought a black pen, a writing pen, like a gel pen. And then because, you know, I had to be a little tongue in cheek, and I brought a gold leafing paint pen because I was going to Ireland to look for the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow because, you know, I'm tongue in cheek that way. And so I brought colored pencils in the rainbow. And so that was it. That's all I was bringing with me. And so that fit into this bag, and it was pretty flat. And even if I took it out and just did a quick watercolor or a quick doodle, or I pulled it out and just, you know, filled up the plastic bags. That's why I did this with ephemera as I was going around. That was it. That's all I felt like anyone ever really needs to take on a trip. What I would love is if in the chat, I'm gonna put this to the side and pull up my project for today. But in the chat, is there something else that you would have taken with you on a trip? Like I would say, 1, what else would you have added to your art kit? And 2, what was I taking that you would never have taken? So what would you take and what would you not take? Okay. And I would love to hear that. And, you know, maybe I will just pack it up and go to the lake, my local lake, and give myself, you know, I don't know, something. Stephanie, Posca pens. Okay. I have never taken a Posca pen on an airplane, but I do know that they can explode. I've heard stories. So that's a good point in that my art bag probably would have been in another plastic bag. And I would have taken the risk, honestly, you know. No pencil sharpener. That's a good point. If it broke, I would have just used something else. Like literally, I'm not going to take everything. Tammy would take water brush or 2 and some Inktense pencils, right? Graphite and an eraser. Yes. So what is it that you would take that I didn't pack? And it's quite possible that, and yes, for those that are, you know, pencil doodlers, a pencil sharpener would have been absolutely mandatory. But for me, I wouldn't even have thought of that. I would have just gone and asked someone for a pencil sharpener, or I would have picked up my Sharpie pen and just sketched with my Sharpie pen. I don't need a pencil to sketch. I will sketch just with the pen. So that's just, you know, how I work. So that's good to know. Mini stamp pads, Gail said, yes, that'll be awesome. And Cynthia, I'm going to tell you, pack what I packed. A month-long camping trip. Although a month is a long time, okay? A month is a very long time. So it's quite possible you'll need a few things. And if you're going on I'm going on an airplane. If you're not going on an airplane, pack everything. I don't care. Pack a whole suitcase full of art supplies. If you're in a car, you can do whatever you want. It's delightful that way. It's awesome. And thank you. Yes, it does. I have quite a few videos. I probably will talk this weekend in my email about, you know, a little bit about packing supplies. I have, if you go on you're on YouTube, y'all, you're on YouTube. If you go into my channel and go where it has the little, you know, magnifying glass to search and write art kit or art supplies, I have a few videos about small kits. So if you're interested in that, please go dig into that. And let's see. And Tammy said, I always have a mechanical pencil in my purse. Yes, because my dad was a draftsman, so he taught me to always have a pencil. I always have a pen on me at all times. So a pen and a Post-it, I can go far with a pen and a Post-it. It's delightful. Okay, so yes, and a mechanical pencil, no need for a sharpener then, just maybe an extra thing or two. So I have not obviously done much since last weekend because I was thinking about packing, and then now I'm thinking about, just trying to get my brain back into I'm staying home. My girlfriend and I really talked about the fact that it was the fact that we really needed to reset and like leave the country for a little while and do something that was not here because of the climate of here in the US. And so I think that's our biggest disappointment, is not being able to have that reset. So anyway, let's do some creativity, because when we are in a wackadoodle spot, an emotional quagmire, I don't, as many of you know, you probably heard me, I don't create when I'm in a very sad, depressed, angry, frustrated mode. And I'm all of those things today. But I had this obligation, and yes, I could have canceled it always. I had this obligation to go on YouTube, and so I took the obligation to come on and create, because I know if I can get myself started doing something on this piece, on these cards, then my mood will lighten, my heart will lighten, my soul will maybe expand a little bit, my breath might get a little deeper, because I've been finding a lot of, I'm shallow breathing. So I chose to come on and do this and do some creativity. And I hope for those that ever find themselves in that space, that this is the invitation to find something tiny, like these little cards, and dive into it and do something with your hands and get yourself out of your head maybe, and back into your creativity. So these little cards, as I was saying, were started on Sunday during my creative playdate. If you're in the membership, this lesson is there for you now. You can watch it at your leisure. And I've had a few people finish some of them and send them to me, which was delightful. So I'm just going to play with them. There will be 26, so one for each letter of the alphabet. And I just love having a bunch of them out in front of me. Oh my God, I'm loving this. By the way, this is the color I just picked up, this neon pink. And when I put it down, I'm just enamored. So I'm going to go and be enamored with it in a few other spots. Ooh, Nelly. So, anyway, that's your invitation. If you didn't do these cards and you don't have cards right now, just grab maybe grab a piece of paper, like a piece of watercolor paper, and just chop it into little squares and start doing something to them. Like lay them out, and I'm just going to bounce around. I keep going, there's pink, pink, pink. I'm looking to put pink in a few other places. Like I kind of want to put pink in places that aren't there. So, and this neon is just screaming at me. I'm thinking I might fly speck it. I think I'm gonna forever say that, splatter it a little bit. Yes, I think nature would be good. I'm going to do that this weekend. And thank you, Susan. And yeah, a big collective hug. Yes, thank you, Rachel. Yes, we could all use a big collective hug, and a virtual hug is always a good thing, y'all. No one is ever gonna, if you know me or gotten an email from me, you know I sign my emails hugs. I'm a big hugger. I have friends who are not huggers, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, that's right, you're the hugger." And they graciously allow me to hug them, and then they let go and laugh. And usually they barely touch me back, but that's okay. I hug. That's my thing. So when I'm working on like this kind of project, then I kind of bounce around. I would even encourage you, you could just do one at a time. I still have a bunch here that I need to put, but this is what's fitting. I did a project that will be on YouTube next week, and I have these two butterflies floating around. So I'm gonna use them. This is the type of project where, you know, all those little bits, like you might have a box of bits, which I do, and you just could go through it and just keep pulling out the box of bits and adding it to the cards. Let's put this here. Oops, I ripped the butterfly wing. And then, you know, just see what happens. Like, just keep gluing stuff down and see what happens. So I've got two butterflies that I'm going to add. And I've got some splattering, so that might need to dry, but I can jump into, if one has too much splattering, I'll just pull a different card in. And I still have a set, by the way, to cut out, because this entire set started as an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper where we did a bunch of stuff on top of it. Then I cut them up, and now I'm working on each card individually, because I know some of you were not at that, so maybe I'll pull out what the inspiration was. This is a little box that everybody got during that class as well. So this is the inspiration for these cards. These were done absolutely one at a time. They were not cut out ahead of time. They started, most of them started with what is lovingly referred to in the art journal world, under paper, which is what I'm building here, the under paper that you work on. And I glued a manila folder kind of paper in this shape all over under paper, and then cut it out, and then I just started playing. So that's the inspiration. Okay. But this one just started a little different because I didn't want to start with all the little cards. I wanted to start blank. I wanted to start with something. So I also have, you know, I have collage. I have this collage material, which I love. And so are any of you working on your cards with me today? I would love to know. And if not, no big deal, obviously. You can work on whatever you want. I really love this one. I feel like that's almost done. Ooh, I smeared. Okay, I smeared. So now I'm just going to smear. There you go. I smeared. Like this one, I'm going to talk about this. Like this one to me, as soon as I put the hot pink on it, feels kind of done. It has this tiny piece of purple up in the corner here. And I am not a fan of just leave a tiny bit somewhere. You could. But I feel like if I can get a purple to show up, I need a purple that will show up. There. Oh, Leslie, you finished your cards. Yay. Oh, yes, you can use anything you want, Jennifer. Okay, I'm going to go back, and I saw a bunch of comments come in, so I just got to scroll back. But I had a little bit of purple here, and so I just wanted to add some more purple onto the card. That way it doesn't look like an afterthought. All right. And then, all right, let me go back and finish up what I was, oh, you don't, Gail, I know you cut them up, but it's okay. The original deck was literally, I cut them up and then started working on them. So I just wanted everyone to have a different way of using it. So it's absolutely. So Susan, yes, is working on hers. Tammy's working. She's almost finished. She's adding a touch of gold. Yay! And Deb is working on hers. Leslie finished it, and Kelly is. She took an empty Orbit gum box to use as the box. Ooh, there you go, people. Another one, an Orbit gum box. Those are really good because they're structured. And then of course there's always the tins with the mints, which the name of the mint is totally escaping me right now, but that could also be doing. Jennifer, could I use tagboard instead? You can use anything you want. Okay, this was watercolor paper. You could use cardstock. It doesn't really matter. The original deck was on this super thick, you can even hear it, manila paper, and it wasn't a folder. I think what I was trying to remember, for because this has been many years since I did this deck, I think it was like the dividers that would go in a file cabinet, and they were just a lot more sturdy than a manila folder, which a lot of manila folders, especially if you were buy them at the dollar store, are super thin. Okay, if you have really strong like index cards, original index cards. Oh, thank you, Kelly. Altoids. Yeah, the brain was fried. But watercolor paper is delicious for this, or delightful. It is also delicious. But use what you have, y'all. Use what you have. Okay. Gwen's finished hers. Yay. And they're bright, uplifting colors. And I thank you, Rachel. And Wendy finished her A to Z using your printouts. Now I'm doing a sewing prompt deck for my stitching group. I need to do 9 for Christmas, so I'm starting now. That is delightful, Wendy. This is the type of project that if you're one of those people who are like, I love to be creative, but then I don't know what the heck to do with this when I'm done with it. I just want to be creative. This is it. Make one of these decks. The A to Z, for those that were not there at the play date, was I actually offered A to Z. So I'm going to do sideways just so you hear her. But like, it was like abundance, balance, create, delight. So I called it the A to Z of me, because the words were aimed at me or you. And just so that you know, I found no X words that I liked. So they were all EX, excellent, express, explore. But they were to cut a group of 26, and then you would put one on each, one of the words on each card. So this is a really great project if you wanted to give it as a gift. So you could have yourself a creative project, and then you could give it away because you got to be creative. Yay, you. And then you're done. You give it away, put it out into the universe. Okay. So, yes. And the box template, that would be awesome, Wendy. And there was 2, you could use the box template for those that got the printable for this. Don't forget that you could just use the template and use any paper. You just cut it out of whatever paper you like, using what I gave you as a template. Okay. Just because, they were very specific in that one was a rainbow and the other was coffee dyed. All right. So I'm thinking this is done. This feels done to me. Okay. So I'm going to finish it completely. I'm going to grab, I'm not sure I want to, I think I do. I'm going to grunge all of them up with black on the edges. I absolutely love the way that looks. It's not everybody's thing, cup of tea, but it's mine. And I'm going to go to my list. And I'm going to go with A. I'm just going to start at the beginning. Now, you could also get really into the, this card feels like awe to me. This card feels like bravery to me. You can get as in-depth into how you choose the word for each card as you want. Or you can be random and say the first card that I get finished gets A. Or you can finish the whole deck and then randomly pull them. Oh, geez. Okay. There, I'm gluing the piece of paper I took off. That's hilarious. All right, let's get the real word. And I'm going to put it here at the center of the spiral. Okay, and then I need my black Sharpie. Of course, I could just dig into my kit, couldn't I? And I'm going to outline it. The Sharpie is almost dead. Okay. And there you go. Card done. Okay, done to me. I don't think I'm doing anything on the back. If it becomes an issue that, you know, some of the backs end up with paint on them, I probably will turn them all over and like splatter paint all over them, and that way I'll create my own back when I'm done. Okay, so card done. I'll just pop another one in its place. Okay. Yes, I love that. It's so one of the things I had said, Tammy said, is I loved my suggestion of punching out some of the cards, like doing a punch actually through the card and then take that piece and glue it onto a different card. So that's also something to make the cards dimensional. If you are not going to use, we discovered that you can be a little bit bulky, like put some kind of collage bulk on your cards and still have them fit in here, the 26 cards. But that's when like the Altoids tin, or what Kelly was using with the, you know, the gum, Orbit gum box, like that might be something. If you start adding like a lot of collage clusters and maybe do some stapling, or you run it through your sewing machine, any of those things start to add bulk to the cards. So you might need to find a different holder once you're done, depending on what you're doing. I don't think I'm going to do sewing on these, but who knows? I might get to the end and decide they all need to have sewing on them. But you just never know, y'all. You never know. Okay, so I pulled out some stamps. One of my, this came in Happy Mail. I mean, y'all, this is some serious Happy Mail. I love this. And I thought this would be fun. I love the letters. And the other stamps I pulled out for today, pop this on my block, was this I found in a thrift store, hence the 75 cents. But what I love is Love You Till the End. I mean, cute. Hey Sugar, all those. I liked that they have all these little tiny stamps that to use as just a little something something on each of them. So that I pull them out as well. Okay. Ooh, a sewing theme box, grunged A to Z with rust and sewing prompts with purple. Wendy, I can't wait. I hope you send me a picture. All right, so I'm going to ink up this lettering one. I think this is an old stamp pad. It's all right. I don't need it to be perfection. And I'm just going to push a few together. See what happens. Oh, it's not coming out. I think this stamp pad is kind of old. Excuse the banging. Let's try again. Oh, that's better. Okay. So I just need to be super generous with my banging. Hang on. It's a stamp pad. I don't ever get rid of any stamp pad because stamp pads that are dying also work for edging. So I just hang on to all my stamp pads because, you know, that's just the way I roll. All right, let's see. Oh yeah, there you go. So I can't really see the letters too much, but that's okay. It's giving me something on the background. And that's all I want. A little something something in the background. All right, we'll move that. And then let's see. I'll pull one of these little ones out. So, you know, that a project like this is just so delightful in that it is, you have the ability. I have more ink on the block than I did on the stamp. You have the ability to really just try little things, because you're not, I don't want it to be all the same. I want them to be all different. I want every time, you know, they have a similar feel, because obviously many of them are going to share a mark or a color. I'm still using all similar colors, but sorry, I have to think about that. But so, and they're also all being made by me. So, you know, that helps a lot, because then they're all my aesthetic. Okay. All right. What do I want to do now? What else is calling my name? So I have this doily. I'm not sure about that. I also have some washi tape. Do any of them need some washi tape? Does anything ever need washi tape? Maybe. I mean, there's no right or wrong to any of these projects. It's just doing. Do. It's in my hand, so I'm going to use it. You cannot go wrong, y'all. Cannot go wrong. All right, that one's done. I'm going to pull these forward. No, they don't last forever. Sharon said, I just opened a couple of decades-old stamp pads and the pieces of pad pulled off with the ink in a gooey mess. Ew. No, I guess they don't last forever, honey bun. Time for some new stamp pads. That's for sure. All right, so I got some blue and orange. Does anything need something? I feel like some of these are almost... I'm auditioning. I feel like I have to audition. I'm auditioning my pieces here. And it's okay. There are also some days, many of you, I mean, a lot of you here today are probably not that new to me. I would say probably most of you are not new to me. That I'm a pretty decisive person. I find a piece of collage or whatever, and I just start slamming it down. I'm like, oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. I'm liking that. But as you've heard, my brain is a little emotional, and I'm second guessing things. And that's okay. Ooh, I like that. So this is deli paper. So the underneath was book paper, and then I put a piece of deli paper with color on top, and I love that you can still see through it. It's delightful. I love that. I'm liking this butterfly, so I'm thinking I might do, ugh. This paper is very thin. So when in doubt, make it thicker. And now I have 3. So yes, I'm liking the butterfly. Like, I'm liking the book paper part. It might be why I liked that washi tape as well. So it's breaking up some of the color. It's very colorful, what I've used, the colors, obviously. So here and there, these book paper butterflies are giving it, oh, it's upside down. Jeez. giving it some neutral to work on. Okay. I could even, you know, go find some of my vintage tape. That might not be a bad idea. To add some vintage things to it, or some more watercolor, or some more. You're waiting for paint to dry, I'm making cupcakes. Okay, well there, way to switch directions there. I love that, Jennifer. Okay, so I think collage is what's not speaking to me a lot right now. I think coloring things is speaking more. So that's also something, if you keep collaging things down and it's feeling forced, which it's feeling weirdly forced today for me, I'm like, well, what else can I do? So I'm picking up my colored pencils. I might pick up my, because I really loved when I did this on Sunday. So can I do more of that? And the answer is yes. Yes, I can. So what is intriguing you, or what is soothing you? That might be a good way of putting it. What is soothing you when you're working, especially if you're doing this in a agitated mood? And the colored pencils are doing that for me, for sure. So I have some beige here. Feels like it needs something else. Beigey. Beigey, because, you know, that's a word. Beigey. Part of my collage paper that I gave y'all has, it was a collage paper of collage paper. Huh. So there's lots of bits all over it. Okay. Don't think just glue. Don't think just add. It's the mantra for today. Don't think just paint. That was a mantra when I taught many years ago, the decorative painting that I taught. People would get very trapped in the, I'm just afraid to put down that rose or add that leaf or try that tulip. And I think the thing I said the most in those 10 years was stop thinking and just paint. Don't think, just paint. Don't think, just paint. Because we were working with acrylic paint and you can just paint over it, y'all. Acrylic paint is delightful. And now that we're mixed media people here, you can just add more stuff, add more collage. Just add, keep layering. When in doubt, add gesso, you know, just keep layering. And eventually it'll say when. It will say it if you're listening. I will tell you that. All of your work will always tell you when it's done. Keep coming back to this one. Always, always, it will tell you when it's done. If you will listen, you got to listen. This one said green, more green. So I listened and I put green. And then it's got this pale pink here. All right, I'm going to outline it in black. Oh, you have an X word? Tammy, what'd you use as your X word? I'm adding the black. The reason I'm adding the black now, I don't know if I'm done. So one of the things to find out if I'm done is I'm going to do my final thing, which is to outline it with the black stamp pad, because maybe that will tell me if it's finished. Okay. It's another way for me to check in on it. And I think so. I think this one is done. Stephanie finally bought art glitter glue with the metal tip and has made my messy glue task 80% less messy. Good. I'm glad. I keep seeing piano keys on the card where they're repeated, like, oh yeah, this one. Well, this one or this one. A colorful keyboard. Yeah, maybe these. This one too. Disappointment. Kelly said, disappointment is one of the heaviest feelings to work out of our bodies. Writing it down helps me the most, then I burn it. Afterwards, I turn on a fabulous dance tune and dance. My friend, I will certainly try that. Xenial. Ooh, xenial. So Tammy's X word was xenial. I will have to look that up. I do not know what that means. So next, Tammy, I need you to please put the definition in the chat. Yes, the grunging I think is helping. And I'm going to go to my words because, where is it? Bravery is my next word. I'm going to cut it and then I'll cut it again. And a lot of times I rip words, but I think for this one, I'm just going to cut. I'm going to cut them kind of close. Boop. And there. Okay. So we've got bravery. Yes, that works. And these words are a lot bigger than what were on my original deck. The font is bigger. Remember that if anyone ever gives you a printable that you're like, well, that's too big, your printer will cut if you just put the percentage down. All right, which this pen is better. So I'm going to go back and redo that. Okay, so now I've got all. You can see it without everything around it. And bravery, which I love that there's a butterfly, but you have to kind of look to see that the butterfly is there. Transformation, bravery. Love it. Okay. Okay, so xenial means hospitable, welcoming to strangers, etc. Ooh, I love that. And that you are, Tammy. That you are. Okay, so this one is just bugging me. It's bugging me. So one of the things, it feels like it's dark. So I'm going to go back to that hot pink. Not watery enough. Hang on. Boop. Oh, there we go. And that is helping immensely. Okay. I'm going to hold it up to the camera. It will dry, but it broke up a lot of the dark and the really dark blue. Okay. So I'm going to put that to the side so I do not smush it. I don't want to smush it. So this is not a project. Obviously, you can see that I will finish right today. I'm also talking as we're doing this. So that, you know, kind of slows me down a little bit. But just remember that this type of project is that project where you're like, I do not know what to do today. I don't want to think about like opening my journal. This is a great little project. It's tiny and it's doable. And, you know, you can just work on it a little bit at a time. I love the way, and when something is like, oh, that really, I loved the way that looked like that. I love the way this green is interacting with my cards. Do more of it. Do more of it. So that's what I'm doing. I'm loving how that looks. So I'm going to do more of it. And then I'm thinking if I can find my purple right quick. Maybe plum. Is there a purple? So the one bad thing about these is that they're in a bag. But they really need to be like in a tray. But I don't have a tray. So purple, because I saw purple here. And so I felt the need to purple that. To maybe purple this one. And I do like to do everything in threes. A little bit three. I like threes. All right. Delightful. This needs white. White, white, white. So I'm going to pull out some white gesso and see if I can splatter this one. So when in doubt, splatter. I think I've said that enough. When in doubt, add white and some, that helps immensely. I love that. When in doubt, grab a stencil and even like grab a stencil and do it. Now that I've said it, I'm going to grab a stencil. I have a variety of stencils sitting here. Ooh, I've got bubble wrap, which I used on Sunday. I used a few things on Sunday in here. Fall is coming. Let's pull up a spider web. And, you know, so use a stencil and see if you can break up some of the pieces. So let's see. And I think I've decided, let me put this back on, that I'm not the black, some of the stamps with black, but I don't know that I'm going to use a ton of black because I am going to outline it in black and the words are going to be in black. So I think that's going to be my extent. Like I don't want to stencil with black is where I was getting with that. So let's see. This one, this one. All right, I'm going to put these three together. Put my spider web down. And just see what happens. It could be not good, or it could just be a nice addition. It is what it is. It's not, it's neither or. It's just, it's good. It's looking okay. All right, bubble wrap is looking good for me too. I'm thinking bubble wrap. And I have these blue dots sitting here. So I'm going to see. Okay. Not terrible. Ooh, okay, I like that too. So ones that I'm just feeling like just need something. I'm trying this bubble wrap color. Whether you can see the bubble wrap in the end or not is really irrelevant. It's just about how I'm applying. This is just, you know, it's like a paintbrush. How I'm applying the color. All right, and then I have this one as well. Oh yes, Gail said she's making fodder without realizing it. Your underpaper, anything that you work on, put underneath your designs are always going to be fodder, always, always. All right, so I think I've almost used up my turquoise in my palette. Bummer. So if I'm, zeroing in on a couple of the cards, and sometimes it's a broad, broad design where I'm just playing with all of them all at the same time. And then after a while, you tend to zero in on a couple, and then you start to finish them off. And then you can see, okay, I need the orange, let's see. So I'm just thinking out loud, this orange that's sitting here. Sorry, I should have gone closer today, but I didn't have the camera closer. I'm just adding, so I'm balancing this orange over here. Okay. And I have orange in my hand, so is there anywhere that I could use some orange? I just like to pick up on whatever is happening. Drag a mark longer. See, I'm just dragging these longer. Okay. Emphasizing them a little bit. And just see. Let's see. Got neon yellow on my packet, my thing here. Just see if I can brighten up that corner a little bit. And now I've done one. Must add neon yellow to a few of them. And no matter how many times you do this, they will always be different. I mean, you cannot make the same decision, or, it's just hard. And why? Why not make it as just, by the way, if it's going everywhere, boop, 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 boop. I wanted the neons on this, but I'm allowing it to sit wherever it lands. Ooh, that would be fun. Let's put it on that with the hot pink. Because little accidents, like I'm splattering this neon and then I realize how it's reacting to other cards underneath it. And I'm like, ooh, that's really fun. And then you just keep going. See what happens. I'm looking good. I'm liking. And, the other thing that might need to happen, oh, the neon went everywhere. It's even on some of the new cards, is I might need to let them sit, okay, for maybe, a day, and then come back and see if something is speaking to me. Because after a while, when you're working on something this busy, because it is really busy, all these little cards, and you're working a little bit on all these little things, they tend to blend into each other and you're not looking them at one cohesive piece. I'm also looking at them on a piece of paper that has, like movement on the back or has marks on the back, because I've been using it as my underpaper. And so maybe what I need to do is just take it and set it off to a table somewhere that's on a fresh piece of paper, or, a brown carpet or a white tablecloth or whatever you want to do, and just move them around. I also like have them, they've been in these rows for a while. Can I move them around and see if any of them start to scream at me, I'm done? Because they will, or they literally will be quiet. Maybe some will be screaming, and that's the ones I need to work on. Because I think that some of these are done, but I'm a little overwhelmed with them right now, and I need to, like, these two said done pretty fast. I feel like these two, let me pull them up, which are still drying. I think they're done, but I want to edge them and put lay the word on it and see if that works. So some of them might be done, some of them might not be. If you're unsure, just walk away, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to walk away and see when I come back tomorrow how I feel about them. Okay. How do I feel about the cards? Um, do they, like when things dried, because also I've done a lot of splattering and don't want to hit it with the heat gun right now. So I would like it to dry. So what happens when all the watercolor splattering I've done dries? Does it make a difference? Did it change color? The gesso that I splattered, I'm going to show you up close, is actually absorbing some of the either watercolor or the colored pencil below it. So it's no longer white. Okay. So is that going to make a difference? Do I like this little stamp? Okay. Or am I like, oh, that stamp, maybe I need to put it on more. Maybe I need to take some of these, like the little leaf and the little flower, and add them to a few more so it feels more cohesive when you see the deck all together. So those are just little things that I will do that I invite you to do as well with your work, especially when you're working tiny like this. We tend to be like, here's my head in the camera. We tend to be like right on top of it. And so you just want to get away from it, walk away, even if it's for an hour. I mean, just change perspective. The other thing I will encourage you to do, that is something that I have done in the past, is to take a photo of them, like lay them out where they're on just white, okay, so that you can maybe see the cards more individually that have more space. Take a photo of them, and then you can go, instead of scrolling Instagram, you could just scroll your phone and just look at them. Because when you look at something through a lens of a camera or through a photograph, it changes the way it looks. It tends to flatten it out, and you can kind of see where you might want to add or if it's done. That was a trick I learned when I was doing murals, because murals are so huge and it's hard to get perspective from them. So I would that's when I had it like a digital camera, and I would take a photo of it, and then I would look at the back of the digital camera, and it would flatten it out, and it would kind of give me a perspective of what was missing. Okay. Or if I was done. I mean, it will also tell you if you're done. So I hope that gives you some thoughts to work with. And I hope this did help me. Thank you. Thank you all for the wonderful comments on my color choices. I wish I could figure out how to teach color theory and teach how I think of color, but it's so intuitive to me that I hope you learn by osmosis and just watching me, because that's as best of color theory as I can give you. And so, my thing, when in doubt, use the rainbow. Use all of them. Okay. And yes, this did help immensely for those that said, for taking the time to be creative. So let that be a lesson when you're frustrated and disappointed or sad. Do a little bit of creativity. Okay. Grab a Post-it and a pen and do a mandala. Is one of my favorite things to do when I'm stressed out. Because I tend to have Post-it notes and pens everywhere. So I just draw on Post-it notes. Okay. Thank you, Cynthia. For those that just popped in, and my getaway to Ireland is not happening. So if that's what you're hoping, I have a good getaway, thank you. That is not happening because of my girlfriend being in the hospital. She's fine. She's home. But I will get away to local places and get outside in nature and take walks and do all that fun things. And I'm going to put my face in the spotlight so that we can end it on that note. And yeah, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you got some creative time in. I hope that if you are in a wacky space, that it helped you. It always helps me once I get going. I have to get going. But I'm also going to go back and read, because that is my way of processing, is to read. All emotions, I tend to always fall into my books. So I'm going to go and I'm going to read. I'm going to hang out with my puppy and my husband and have a good dinner and, go for a walk tomorrow and just be where I need to be. So I thank you all for coming in and hanging out with me today. And for the membership. Double thanks for all your energy and your participation in my world. I can't tell you enough how much it means to me. So that's all I got for you this Friday. Oh, the next time I'm keeping the schedule the same, even though I'll be home. I'm not going, I don't think, I'm trying to think what my next YouTube is. Hold on. Okay, the next YouTube is September 19th. So that's the only one that's going to be, thank you, Susan. The only one in September will be the 19th. So just, mark that on your calendars or get on my email list, because I do let everyone know when it is happening. And that's all I got for you today. Have a wonderful weekend. Take care of yourself. I will take care of me, I promise. And we will see each other again in all the spaces. Love you all. Bye.